Yes, this is Gem FM, the talking point with the sheriff, Delbert Baptiste, and Raphael Paul as host tonight. Um, Pablo explained to you, so I will just leave that to Pablo to go ahead. I don't want to do too much talking tonight again, you know. Let Pablo go ahead from there on in. All right, Uncle Pablo, go ahead. Yes, all yes.
Yes, brother John, thank you very much. You know, it's almost what 9 o'clock in Canada right now.
Yeah,
It's coming up on 9 o'clock. As I say, good evening and welcome to those of you who have stuck around, because usually by now we would be, you know,
okay, I think that is good.
well into the program. We would have
Mm,
been coming up on 2 hours into the
yes.
talking point for this evening. But we are here with you, and whenever these things happen, we're not tardy in that way. Because that's one thing about Gem FM, the Gem FM family, led by John Calliste, that we have that commitment to be
Mm,
here to share with you on a Friday and Saturday evening, and we try to stick to that commitment. But, you know,
yeah. Just
I don't know, man.
Miss Murphy sometimes
Murphy
do
has
things
been Murphy has been misbehaving so
for the
badly.
last week.
Murphy has been misbehaving very badly recently.
Yeah, been
And we've had issues with the
the
desktop system, and then the
top.
laptop, and had
Yeah,
to. Oh man, it was up until recently. It was touch and go as to
yeah,
whether we would be having a program this evening, because we were forced to
yeah,
cancel one of our flagship programs on Monday, midday on Monday.
yeah,
And it's just that's the way it is.
yeah.
But
Murphy.
eventually we are here, and we are here because we have that commitment to you, the public, to share with you on issues. And so we are going to have a conversation with you. And finally, we see even our
Is
guest
here.
for this evening was
Overcome.
having some difficulty,
Yeah,
getting to be able to sign in. And given that, this is his first experience on the Zoom platform, and so we had to be a little bit, in terms of. But I expect that after this experience, he would have a greater appreciation of how the thing set up and how the thing work and thing.
yeah.
So
Ting
going
ting.
forward, we'll be able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So to get started, there's a whole heap of talking points and so on. We may be able to touch on them, but our focus this evening is really to, I guess some of you may have seen in the news recently, there was an item dealing with the sulfur spring in River Sallee. Or I should say, before we get there, as usual, our co-host, Brother Delbert Baptiste, is with us, although presently he's off the audio because he has some other matters to take care of behind the scene, but he'll be joining us on audio shortly. Um, but you would have seen in the news recently, the sulfur spring, the hot spring in River Sallee, became a news item. And so it is one of our flagship historical sites. Okay, and there's a gentleman who has done significantly to bring it back. I have to say, to bring it back, because it was at a stage at one point in time where there wasn't much happening, it's it's one of our prominent sites, because we have quite a number of hot springs. There's hot springs all over the place, I'm telling you. Once you trod into the mountainside, you're going up Victoria side into what I consider to be, well, what is definitely the tallest waterfall in the country, the Tufton Hall waterfall. You will, because it has three tiers, yeah, three levels to that waterfall. It's the tallest one in the country. And once you trod in there, you come across a number of hot springs. There's hot springs in different areas of the country, but this one is the most accessible. And so much so, since back in 2011, 2012, I had the occasion to meet with this gentleman, and he had seen the conditions living in the area. He had seen the conditions that existed there. He had an appreciation of the potential of that entity, or the potential of that tourism asset. So he went there and started to do some work. He brought other people along with him. And with me being during that period at the Ministry of Tourism with responsibilities for community tourism, and having been involved with the establishment of the Guelph Fish Friday Festival when Dr. George Vincent returned from working with the OAS office for a number of years, and he came with the concept for Fish Friday. I became the first face and the first voice of Fish Friday, being on the GBN To The Point radio program one morning with the renowned Lou Smith, fielding questions about the Guelph Fish Friday Festival when it was still only a concept. So having worked with that and having played a role too in assisting the Victoria Group in the development of the food festival, I had a great appreciation of the potential of community tourism. So I visited that site, and I'm going to share with you a bit from the concept paper that was established during that period that have gotten this site to where we are at. And there are some photos that I'm hoping Brother John is going to share on the, is going to share on the live there, so that you can see the stage that things were then. Okay? That you can see the stage that things were then. And that was an improvement on what existed before, because by then, the gentleman that I will introduce to you shortly had already done significant cleaning of the area and made the road accessible and so on, that people could walk in there without having to muddy your feet and without the water from the grass in the road wetting you up. So the background to the concept paper says, as a result of Grenada's volcanic structure, we have been blessed with a number of hot springs at various locations throughout the different parishes. Most notably among them is the River Sallee Boiling Spring, as it's commonly called, located in River Sallee. St. Patrick, because we have another River Sallee right here just up the road from me in St. Mark, right? So we have to be specific as to the River Sallee that we're referring to, okay? It goes on to say, the location is actually the host to 4 or more hot springs, whose volcanic origin has endowed them with various qualities and colors of sulfur products, which are renowned to possess a variety of external healing qualities for the body. These sites are also favored by members of the traditional Baptist faith for the practice of certain religious rituals. Of all such springs in Grenada, this is the most prominent and accessible one. Although the spring, has been a major attraction for quite some time, there has been a significant lack of maintenance of the site. Okay, at that point in time, there had been. Additionally, there has not been any other value-added component to a visit to the spring. So it was just the site. That's all that was there. However, Mr. Augustine Benjamin, that's the gentleman we'll be speaking with shortly, a member of that community, has been leading some other community members in a drive to maintain the location and to develop the site into a community tourism attraction with a more fulfilling experience. So that was the background. Now the profile, it's very short too. The proposal as outlined by Mr. Benjamin will realize the provision for sale of local food items and other refreshments, along with music and other forms of entertainment, cultural performances included. Locally made craft will also be provided for sale. Because of the healing properties of the sulfur at the springs, visitors will have the opportunity to have healing health baths and to receive massages with herbal fragranced local oil. Okay? The service will be provided by Miss Lewin John, a member of the group who has had formal training in this process. Now remember, this was written back in 2012. In order to accomplish all of the above, a refreshment center, change and bathrooms, craft stall, massage booths will have to be constructed. All of the construction work will be undertaken by the community under the guidance of Mr. Benjamin, who is an established construction worker. As far as possible, local timber and other such materials will be used in the constructions of the structures. So that, in a nutshell, was the concept of that project. And that was back in 2012. So we're speaking 8 years ago, and when I got there, he had been there for quite some time. He's going to tell you when he actually started. So at this juncture, and if you see those pictures that Brother John put up, you will see that all over the place where he had, as I said, the materials to be used. It would be constructed from local timber and so you see the different logs, woods and bamboo and so that he had all over the place on the site, because that is what was happening now. These pictures that you are seeing were taken when there was a visit from a team from Grencoda's office led by Miss Judy Williams. I believe she's in one of the pictures there. And we visited that site because there was a visiting team from the OECS office, I believe it was, looking into the prospects for the development of community tourism in our country. So it's at this point in time, the pleasure is mine to welcome to the GEM FM platform and to the talking point, Mr. Augustine Benjamin, or Gogos as we call him. Good evening, my brethren. Hello, are you hearing us? What happened? We lost? Gogos, where are you there, man? Let me hear you.
Turn your mic.
Hello, good evening.
Your mic is off.
Your mic? No, his mic is on. Hello? We are hearing you. You're not hearing us? Hello? Are you hearing us? Mr. Benjamin?
Hello?
Mr. Benjamin, talk to us, man. You're not hearing us? Hello? Are you hearing us? We see, yes, we know that you're there, but we're not hearing you. Is your mic is not muted? Brother John, is his mic muted? Wow, it seems like there's a connection problem. It's saying he's connecting to audio. Okay. All right, he'll be with us shortly. Okay, so unmute your mic now. As you're there, you see, unmute your mic now, Mr. Benjamin. Because your mic is muted. You're here with us now. I show you hearing me. So unmute your mic. Because it's showing that your mic is muted. Brother John, can you unmute the mic from where you're at? You need to unmute the mic.
Yeah, unmute your mic. Just press the unmute the mute button.
Brother John, you should be able to do that.
No.
You can't do that?
No, I
You're
can't do
not
it for
set
me.
up in that way?
No. The guests
Yeah?
have the appointment control over that.
Yeah, you're supposed to have control over that, you know, to mute or unmute.
Okay, let me change that and see.
Guest mic.
Let me see that. Asking guests more. Okay, hold on, let me see.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes,
I hear you as well.
Yes, man. Yes, man. When you get it in. You get it in. All right. You get it in. All right. But you no, I was just a while ago, as I said, as I was saying to our guest, this is Mr. Augustine Benjamin. He's the man that's been doing all the work. I just gave a rundown. I took them back to 2012 when I first connected with you and so on, and gave them an overview of what the project was supposed to be and stuff like that. So just give us a little background on who you are and how long you started that operation in the Sulphur Spring.
But really and truly, Pablo, I want to say good night to our guests and the man, the Mr. behind your back, the panelist.
Yeah, man, Mr. John Calliste. That's the man that running the show.
Mr. John Calliste.
Yes, man, and we have Delbert Baptiste is going to be coming on with us in a while. He's taking some.
Yes, so I want to say good night. I want to say good night to them.
Right.
And I want them to keep up the good works.
Yeah, man.
And I want them to know, I want everybody who listening that show to understand what really happens. From since 2005, I started cleaning up that place. And I keep cleaning and up to today, I am still cleaning that place. But he was fortunate to stop by and give me little clues and give me little photos and give me little help around. When you say to me, why, that is what you wanted? I say, yes, I go in that.
Yeah.
But the process take a long time. We know things happen. We know people in the diaspora listening. Yeah. And we are asking the people in the diaspora whatever help or whatever they can do or give them in that place for to make that place a better place. Is a good for this place.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. You said that you started as early as 2005, right?
Yes.
So, yes. What? Because you live in the area. You live very close. You live very close to the Sulphur Spring itself, right? What is it that made you just get up and decided to do that? Because the Sulphur Spring was always there.
Yeah, it happens. I went to Venezuela to see who is my mom. Okay. But for some reason, she had brought me to a Sulphur Spring in Venezuela.
Okay.
In 1991. And I said, when I come back, I'm going to come and organize the Sulphur Spring. But it happened that I traveled out again.
Mm-hmm.
And I come back in 1999. Okay. And when once I home, an old man come with a vision for me to go and clean up the Sulphur Spring. He said, boy, what you have to do in the Sulphur Spring, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And I just pick up the machete. And go and start cutting the bush. And everybody starts saying he's a madman and this man don't know what he's about.
So you got that kind of reaction from people that something wrong with you to be going and clean up the hot spring.
Yes. All that happened. Everybody say all kind of thing.
No, tell me something. Before you started doing that, did they used to have any visitors like tourists and so going to that site?
Well, no, we didn't used to have tourists, you know. We normally used to have the spiritual Baptists and them come in and do the little rituals and sing the thing and do the thing, you know?
Okay.
I even meet them a couple of times. Once I go in and do my research and checking on how the plants growing, what dying, what happening.
Because I remember when I first visited there, I saw some of the candle droppings, the candle sperm thing around some of the boiling spring and stuff like that, you know.
Well, they normally used to have this candle lit up in there and food and the. But presently now, I want them to come so I could get enough cake and bread and everything to eat.
Well, actually, that was there. As I told you, I shared a little while ago before you came on. I gave some background about the area and the spring, and I did mention that the location has about 4 different springs. Yeah.
Yes, you have a few springs.
Right, and I also mentioned that it's a site that was favored by members of the traditional Baptist faith for the practice of some of their religious rituals, and I believe that's one of the things that would have caused us, because we are very superstitious people, generally speaking, that would have caused many of us to feel away when they see you going and clean up there and so on, and well, what this man is really up to. So you went there and you started to clean. So, and you say that prior to that, you never used to have these kind of visitors and so coming to that site. So you started to clean. But somewhere along the way, you began to get help from other people, didn't you? Didn't you bring other people in with you?
Yes, I bring some other folks with me. But you know what happened with our people? When you bring our people with you and the dollars does not run as it should, because if you're only selling a drink and you ask somebody for a dollar or two to come inside and they pass it straight and they don't give, you don't make nice, you don't fight with them for it. You understand? You just allow it. But now, perhaps in the near future, once we put the things in place and we get it in order, we may have to do something like that.
Okay. So you were there from that time, and tell me something. What is the let me pedal back a bit. When I visited you, you had a lot of stuff, as the pictures would show. Brother John, have you put up the pictures online? Have you been able to do that? As the pictures that I shared showed, when I came there, you had whole heap of logs and different stuff, bamboo and so all over the place. You had a little makeshift structure. You had a tent and stuff like that. And along the way, you did host certain events. Right, because you had started doing something around Christmas, and so could you tell us about some of these events that you had, and what kind of success that you had in terms of people coming to the spring?
Well, when I really cleared up the place, it was around Carnival time, and I decided I want to raise some fund to help buy things to put in there. And I think of doing a sulphur fest.
Okay.
And I bring some music there, and people use the sulphur and cover themselves. The children on a holiday come down who have rash, who have thing on the skin. When they get there for the carnival and they come out there, all their skin was clean up and everything.
Okay.
To go back to school. Right. But after, as time goes by, I decide to fade them out because I think there was more putting a hole in my pocket than putting monies in my pocket.
Okay.
You understand? Because after that, other people start having this same kind of events, else place and everything. So I decided was to cut it out. Okay. And most likely, I thinking for the near future to do something more quality style, more where family could come, where people can come and just relax in an atmosphere where it's not too noisy, it's not too, you understand? Okay. So it's more a picnic level where you can come. Perhaps in the near future, we may be able to have a place where you can spend a night or two.
Okay.
Or even though we have people in the diaspora listening, and who have the tents, what we can pitch a tent or two, and somebody can come and say, well, all right, I want to spend a night or two, you pitch a tent for them, they pay for it. And we could do things like that.
Speaking of,
so even once,
go ahead.
Even once you're there, you want to do like the little backyard cooking, like how we normally used to cook in the past on a firewood and so on. We have a little area where you can come pitch your tent and you want to cook out in the firewood. We organize it with all this as well.
Okay. So speaking about pitching tent and structure and the possibility that down the road there might be a structure where you can overnight and whatever. What structures do you have? Do you have any established structures on the site presently?
But yes, I have a little area where I have a boutique with a few local stuff from the community, what people bring today to sell. We have a little bar where you can get little juices and little things. But enough, we don't have the current to keep the juice for the next day. It's a few solar panel I have, and it does not even enough to power a fridge. So most of the time I buy ice every day. So if you come, you may not be able to get fresh fruits or fresh juices because I don't have the accommodation to accommodate it and keep it fresh.
Okay. Now speaking about that. Now, what about the property? Property, you went there and you started doing work. Who is the owner of that property? Who has the title for that property? Does it belong to government, or who does it belong to?
But there is a name in the ministry. What the name of the property names Rivera Beach Development. It was 900 and something acres of land. When the Canadians had bought the property, they sell about 500 acres, and there is 400 and something acres on the ground. But the little area what I occupy is a bit of land on top of the hill plus with the Sulphur Spring. But I keep going to government for the past, since 2005, but all what they're saying to me, the property belongs to, that is private property, they cannot assist me with anything.
So you said the Rivera what? The Rivera Development one?
No, Rivera Beach Development.
The Rivera Beach Development.
Yes.
So who is the Rivera Beach Development? Who are the people involved in this Rivera Beach Development?
The Rivera Beach Development is some people from Canada what came in 1963 and do business. I don't know if it's with the government and Kent. And that, because those time Kent what was the owners of the property. Okay. You understand? So then when I realized Miss Modest had came as the Minister of Tourism, I sent a message to her, I find her and I say, I need you to come and see what happens and what is what. And that's the last person I had spoken to about the Sulphur Spring, and what the feedback they give me, they cannot help because it's private property. So I keep hearing that from 2005 to even then. So I cannot say anything after that what happened. I don't know.
Now, from my experience and from having been associated with and worked with Grand Coda, I know that Grand Coda was involved with some farmers who were doing farming work on part of that property, because you said it's how many acres that's there, what they call the Shambo area. What's the relationship between the hot spring and the Shambo area where the farmers used to be doing their work and so on? What's happening there now?
Well, it's the area is the same, is Shambo Estate, the Sulphur Spring, and the area where the guys doing the farming is Shambo Estate.
Okay.
But I remember there was a document with Grand Coda with 60-something farmers where they used to assist 60-something farmers inside Chambo. But lately I didn't hear anything about it. I don't know, Mr. Langai didn't give me no feedback on inside there as yet. So I still wait some feedback on what happens or how it happens with them and the farmers, how things going on with them and the farmers.
Okay. So with that being the case, with the whole issue of title and your access, what have been some of the challenges that you have faced? Has there been anyone laying claim to the property outside of that? Has anyone, in spite of the fact that you speak about the lack of support, has there been anyone trying to get you off the property?
Well, there was sometime in 2016, there was a company come to me by the name of Rivera Group Limited, and they asking me to sign some document to make me the caretaker of the area, which I already taken care of. But I asked them for the deed and the plan. I say, I don't mind doing business with you, but I need to see your deed and your plan. But on the long run, they had bring a deed and a plan for me, which I have in the spring still. It's a copy though, but Mark Rivera Beach Development. But Rivera Group Limited will take me to court for damage of property, which
okay, go ahead.
Which the cost is $60,000. That is the charge for damage of property, which area I take up and I take care of for all these years, and you just bring a piece of paper for me to sign. After you take me to high court every time, I have to pay a lawyer how much money and how much money which I don't even have. You understand?
Have these people, have they presented any document to you, like a deed? Because a deed is what demonstrates whether someone has title to a property. Has any deed been presented to indicate that the title for the property is in that group's name?
No, well, the deed what they bring for me and the name of the property, what they on that same deed is the Canadians' own.
Okay.
It's from the Canadians bought in 1963. So their name, the group what take me into court, their name is Rivera Group Limited.
Okay.
And the owner of the properties is Rivera Beach Development. So that's why all the people in my community tell me not to sign that document.
Yeah, don't sign that.
So with that being said, as to go back now, as you mentioned, these were the people, the Canadians were the people who bought the property. The title is still in their name. And according to the Grand Coda document, and that is part of a bigger project proposal, it says for several decades, farmers of Rose Hill and River Sallee have farmed the land at Chambo. Despite good produce on the land, despite good produce as the land is fertile, it lends itself to mechanization and is prime agricultural lands. The farmers remain vulnerable mainly because they have no title to the land, and basic rent once collected has not been so collected for over 10 years. Okay, so there wasn't anybody collecting rent from the farmers and so on. How do you have any idea as to what happened? How did it come about that the farmers started to be farming there? Did the original authority or the original owners lease it or make any arrangement with the farmers or whatever, as somebody from the community? What information do you have about that?
Well, what I know, because even in the earlier settings of River Sallee, before people start living in River Sallee, they was living in Chambon Estate.
Okay.
And after they cleaned up all the lands and everything, they moved them over to River Sallee Estate. You understand? But still, they had the rights to come down and work in Chambon Estate. You understand? And after when the Canadians had left, these said people had working all that lands for all these years. River Sallee, Rose Hill Plains, even far as all people was working on these lands in that estate, where there was a man they call Mr. I don't remember his name right now, used to collect a little rent from some of the people. But after he died, nobody had paid any rent for no property anymore, up to today.
Okay. Now, that being said, you say that so are farmers still doing production on that property?
And for what I see this year, there is a lot more farmers on this property, more than 60 something now.
Right. You said that you have been taken to court by these people for damage of property and whatever. So there's been that move to get you off or to get you under the control of these people who's laying claim to the property. Has there been any challenge to the farmers who farming on Chambon?
No, there is none of them taken to court, or none of them. None of them have taken to court.
So why do you think that you have been targeted for that specific area dealing with the hot spring?
Well, I personally could believe.
Just your opinion.
I personally could believe there is, in the city, there is some big men sitting. They watch the poor man clean up an area, and after they come to you and tell you it belongs to them. It happened all over this country for the longest time.
So that court matter is still ongoing?
Yes, it's still there, just on hold, just waiting. Well, the last time I went was in January, and they put it off for some mitigation and so on to take place soon. Time coming. I don't know when the time will be. So I wait up on my lawyers to call me to let me know when the time gonna come.
Okay.
Wow.
So in the meantime, while all of that is going on, what are you doing? What are your immediate operations that's taking place? What immediate plans? Has that put a stall totally on what you do there? You mentioned that you have this boutique or whatever, that structure where you sell certain things and so on. What do you intend to do otherwise?
Well, presently now, for what happening after this COVID step in, but you know, we had stay home for 3 months. People can come in your place, you can't sell nothing. Even up to today, there is a scarcity of tourists in the spring. There is less people coming in, but I still have to cut the yard. I still have to trim the fence. I still have to make sure the toilets stay clean and everything. Okay. You know, so I still doing the job without no pay still.
Okay. Speaking of toilets, when I was speaking earlier on about the profile, okay, when I was speaking about the River Sallee concept paper, and after giving the background and I gave the project profile, at that time there were no toilets, there were nothing of the sort on the site. No. How did you get to erect toilet facilities and so? Did you get assistance from anyone?
Well, I'm going to say for the toilet facilities within the election time, Pamela Moses had give me a few length of board, a few sheets of ply, and a 2 sheet of galvanized, about 4 sheets of galvanized.
Okay.
Mr. Kenny Lawson had give me a toilet with some fittings and everything. Presently now, the man with the Renaissance party had give me a concrete water tank. It is 10 feet by 8 feet, Mr. What is his name? What's the Mr. name from the Renaissance Party?
The Renaissance Party, I can't rightly say anyway. But I know of the party. It's one of the smaller parties, but
Mr. Greenage. Can't get the right name now, but in speaking, perhaps he may come and be able to refer it. You understand?
Yeah.
Smart buy and them support me a lot. Little and what they could give, they will give me. Plus the $2 little that come around, I will take it and buy things to cut the yard, to clean the place, to do as much as I can right in that area.
Okay. So on the site, there is a young lady who offers, because I did speak about one of the services that will be provided. There would be the massages and so. And I know that there's a lady there who offers that kind of service. How did now you went and started to clean. You said that you had people who were with you, and because of the financial challenges and so, many of them left. Was she one of the people that came along with you in the initial stages?
Well, no, she wasn't one of the person that assist me in the cleaning or so. What had happened when we start having event, one of she child and she husband had died.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So when she come along in the spring, I tell her, well, no problem, she could fit herself in and assist, and so on. And after, for some reason, she decided to do she own. But no, Glencoe had told me they want 2 persons to do some courses.
Okay.
So I sent her, and I sent a young lady they call Dara next side Sulphur Spring Gap. Come back, she tell me she wanted to do massage and so on, and I say, well, it's no problem, but you have to take a contribution. You don't put a charge. Whenever the time at about 2 months, 3 months passed, she decided she put in a charge. So I easily said to her, you're putting a charge on people now, so you have to give something back to help develop the place.
Okay.
And from this time on, bro, this young lady work there. Presently now, a massage is $100. And I only asked for $10 out of the $100 to help develop the area. And that was the biggest nightmare of my life.
To help to maintain the area, that can develop the area?
To help maintain.
It's just maintenance you can do. Why do you say that was the biggest nightmare of your life?
Because since after that time, this young lady have me in a loggerhead way. I is the worst man, I is this, I is that. And I don't understand. Up to today, I bring you to make a living, and after all this have to go on. Up to today, people, you're hearing the man in the Sulphur Spring making OBR and all that sort of wrong saying about me. But I know my heart is clean, and my hands is clean, and my heart is pure. You understand?
So are you saying that the maintenance of the site, in terms of the cleaning and the trimming and the pruning and whatever, the development of structures and so, are you saying that there is no support and there is no assistance, that she plays no part in that?
No, she plays no part in that. She don't give 1 cent for help, to clean or to do nothing.
But she is the main benefactor in terms of the activity that takes place there that is generating income.
Yeah, well, what I can say happening, I believe the young lady have support from our tourism and them and not me. You understand? I can believe that happening because for what I see happen just before independence, to see somebody doing a shoot video for independence, and they had just come inside that place, take a video the sheep list, video the Sulphur Spring, and never even ask me a question, or never even says nothing to me, but just show the video up viral. And to me, that is a no-no.
So, speaking about the tourism authority, what kind of engagement have you had with them and what kind of conversation? You did mention earlier on about having a conversation with the Minister for Tourism, but has there been any communication over the years between yourself and the Tourism Authority or the Ministry of Tourism? Because I remember when I was there, I, along with Mr. Jerry McPhail, who has certain responsibilities within the Ministry of Tourism, we visited you on more than one occasion. So what kind of relationship has developed between you and the tourism authorities, whether it be the ministry or the Grenada Tourism Authority, which then used to be the Grenada Tourist Board?
Well, presently is nothing, because every time I go to them, they shadow me. Every time I try to have they shadow me, and even just sometime last week, I do something with GBN, and I still asking them to come on board, but nobody calling me, nobody saying nothing, everybody hiding from. But I won't believe, I know they supporting the young lady inside there, not me. I know that.
So with things being as they are, you have that court matter with people who's trying to take over because most likely they see the economic potential of that site. And then you have that situation where the tourism authorities, the ministry, and the Grenada Tourism Authority are not collaborating with you. You have that that lady that you've brought there, this operator, that you've brought onto the site, who is now at loggerheads with you, and from what you're saying is getting support from the Tourism Authority. What does that say for you going forward? How do you see your prospects going forward?
It's raining a lot here, and I'm close to the galvan, so I'm not hearing you properly.
I know it was raining by me a while ago, and I had that concern. I had no serious.
You notice I have to put my head closer to here.
Yes, that was happening here. It started raining by you right now. So where are you presently? You in Guave or you in River Sallee?
No, I'm in Guave.
Oh, you're in Guave, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I was asking, seeing that you have that situation. There's the court matter. There is the rain falling strong down there, man. Yeah. Seeing that you have that situation, you have the court matter, you have the situation with the lady that you've brought, the operator who's doing the massages, not contributing, at loggerheads with you, and the tourism authorities, the ministry and the Grenada Tourism Authority not working along with you. What are your prospects? What do you see for yourself? You know, how do you intend to proceed?
Well, I'm going to say to you, Pablo, this project is a project that given to me by God, and God going to deal with it according to His time.
Okay.
At the right time, the right thing going to happen at the right time. I believe something going to happen. It will happen. When God gives you a vision to do something, He don't leave you alone. Amen. He will have hiccups. But if you walk out on it, you lose everything. If you stay there, you die, you have children coming, they will get it.
Brother Delbert, you've been listening patiently for all the while.
Yeah,
it's time to really bring you into that conversation.
I was listening, and then I was not listening because I had a call from.
Yeah, I know you had your stuff to take care of.
So, how are you doing, my brother?
Well, I'm trying to keep the faith, you know. I'm keeping the faith.
You remember me?
Yes, I seen that face in the spring before.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation. I'm gonna jog your memory a little bit. I'm the gentleman who used to live in Miss Jones' house. You know, Wendell and them on the corner by the credit union.
Yes. Hey.
I came there several times, chatted with you when you were doing the toilet facilities and so forth. I remember you describing to me some of the problem that you just raised with Pablo about the lack of collaboration between the lady. Actually, I knew when you brought the woman on, well, I don't want to disrespect her. I knew when you invited her to come there because you had talked about it to me, you know. So listen, this place is really, really important to St. Patrick's, and I know in your way that you have expressed that to me. So I know you're very passionate about how the place can be used and what should happen there, and how, you know, the local community will be able to sort of maximize not just profit from it, but in terms of maintaining the place. Because the funny is, this is a place that I used to go to as a child. There used to be a lady from my village. I'm originally from Chantemelle, and she was a Delbert Baptiste, Miss Renette, and they used to go there and do all the crazy stuff, and we used to follow them just to have fun with them, you know. So I've been going to that place for a very long time, and I have lots of family in River Sallee. So my question to you is, what do you think that, because, you know, sometimes we can become, because I know, because you're so passionate about this, we can sometimes become dogmatic about it, you know. We write, this is what has to happen. So my question to you is, what are you prepared to do, or what do you think that you can do within yourself to bring some sort of greater understanding, cooperation and collaboration between, you know, all the people there? And if it's something that you can't do on your own, River Sallee is a very progressive community with a lot of very well organized people, very well educated people. You think there's somebody in the community that you can identify who can come and sit with all the interested parties and work something out? Because you have good ideas about it. The young lady probably thinks she has good ideas. There are other bigger ideas that could be instituted there. How do you see this going forward?
Well, I personally, once I can get the right set of people, because presently now you does not know who is the right set of people. Presently now you don't know the people you will be telling yourself this is the right set of people. They're more looking to get rid of you. They're more looking to take it away from you. So you don't know who is the right set of people.
Have you reached out to Minister Moses? I mean, he's a reasonable person.
I'm going to say to you, I speak to me, Minister Moses sent a picture for me on Easter, for the same reason why I get mad over a picture, what had happened from the Sulphur Spring. Like tourism do a ad with a young lady to do a video right around the island for independence. The young lady come inside the Sulphur Spring, do the video with only the other young lady inside there. I was inside there. Nobody come to my place. Nobody come inside to say nothing to me. Just come and shoot a video inside it. Minister Moses sent it to me. So I sent back and asked her, you think that is fair for me?
Yeah, but are you the question is, are you handling it the right way?
I didn't hear that.
Are you handling it the right way? Because she sent me the picture.
She sent me the picture, so I asked her if this is the right thing to do.
Okay, but what was the reason for her sending you the picture?
No, she normally send a picture for me. She will send a message. She normally send message on my phone.
Okay, so she sent the message. You have to understand that she may not even have been aware that you were not consulted. So
I know all that. So I easily said to her, when I said what I said to her, she tell me perhaps tourism did not aware. That is impossible for tourism not aware of this.
Have you sought to like have a meeting with her and get somebody who can advise you how to sort of navigate these things and sit down with her and see how she can help? Because she's the parliamentary representative for that area.
Well, I'm going to say to you, since after that, I haven't heard from her again, and I didn't bother to call.
How about she one of her main aides lived right near there, right? Big Day?
No, Big Day is not on that squad anymore. Big Day is home.
Yeah, but I mean, Big Day knows that community, and I don't know if he's still one of our aides, but I think he was at one time, right?
Big Day normally be by me, so Big Day know everything's what happened. If you call him now, he's going to tell you how he feels about that place. Big Day had a program putting together for Batway and the Sulphur Spring at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I know him. He's a very talented guy.
And for some reason after, I don't know what happened, but he was sent home, or I'm up, or I don't know what it was.
Okay.
What I think happening there, I think they're limiting the good people around you, so leave you alone. Is the elimination process? No, no, based on what I'm hearing here, it seems to me that they are eliminating the good people that will support you in your bid to make it a better place, to bring in who they want. I think there's a political move in all of that. I don't think that's happening in isolation. I think if Big Bill writing up something, probably wasn't in their favor, probably send him home, they get rid of him because he was not supporting the idea of getting rid of you and the project and favoring somebody over you to run the operation. This could be likely. For me, I think it's I think somehow there is some kind of political agenda behind all of this. I don't think it's just happening in isolation. I might be wrong, but based on what I'm hearing here, there have to be something in the matter we say besides the peso. If Big Bear, I know Big Bear very well. Delbert know him very well. We were all students together. I know the brother, and you say he was by you and be with you. He might be a close compadre and favoring what you're doing and trying to help you build and do something different. Probably work with you to make the place a better place. That was in their agenda. So that might be one of the reasons why.
How about reaching out to somebody like Anne-Marie?
Tan Bartholomew or somebody?
No, well that's another level. But I'm talking about Anne-Marie Anne-Marie Edwards, our brother.
To me,
You know Anne-Marie, right?
I know these people very well, but these people and them don't. These people and them is not people what interested in that place. They are not interested in that place. From what I see happen,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last thing.
because the rain falling and I haven't seen anything. What I see happen in this place, I invite these people and them there a lot of time. And in the long run, when I see what happened after, I see everybody come and they go in by the next young lady, and like nothing happened. So yes,
You know who's Spectre?
I didn't hear that.
Do you know the group called Spectre?
Spectre?
Yeah.
Yes, I know the group.
Okay, so you know they sort of manage that kind of environmental situation with the turtle watching and thing down in Battery, right?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a really
Have you reached out to them?
Well, I went to them and asking them for some help with some garbage pan and garbage buckets and so on. All they said to me yes, and after I never get any.
But listen, they are a private group struggling for themselves. So I don't know if they have the kind of capital to do stuff like that. But what I would, I'm sure I know they have the intellectual bandwidth to help organize it. And I know almost everybody in the group, and they're very talented people who care deeply about the environment in St. Patrick's. Yeah. So what I'm going to do sort of behind the scene is reach out to Tan. You know Tan, right? You know who's Tan, right?
Yes, I seen him a couple of times.
Okay.
I seen him a couple of times.
Tan is a master.
He's supposed to pass by me. He's supposed to pass by me sometime. We speak one time, and he said he could pass by me, but I never seen him.
Okay, I'll speak to him. He's a master at getting people to work together. I mean, just really brilliant. One of the most. I'm
going to say to you now, in spite of all the help and everything, I thank everybody with what help they can give or what help they can bring along. But this is not a young lady what normally keeps she water. She does not keep she water. I bring several NGOs to speak to this young lady. She tell them, yes, even the whole Western District officers in khaki, I bring them there. She had agreed. But she tell them she said she would not give me the money. She will bring it in the police station to help maintain the area.
Okay.
And after that, she turned around and said, me, I don't give him no money. I say, it's not money I want. I want to keep the place clean and take care of the place. But I get to know now, I don't need the money from her to cut the place. People normally give me $2, $5, $1. I put it together, I buy the gas. I take my time and I cut the place.
Okay.
So I didn't know if I didn't need it from her. Presently, no, I don't need it. I go to just cut the place as I custom. I cut in my house, my yard. I cut from the road, come inside. It may cost me about $300 when the day up. But I cut it. I get it to cut. So I don't think I.
So what is your master plan in your mind for this place?
Well, my master plan presently now. Perhaps a couple of years ago, I didn't have what I have in my mind now. But what I see as the time goes by, tourism go on a down low. You have people in Grenada here what want to have a little outing, they want to have a little relaxation, they want to have a place where they can come sit down and relax. Or come and kick back on a moonlight or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do something on that sort of level.
Okay.
You understand? Where you can come bring your children and just have a little play area for children. Once you have a little play area for children, parents going to come.
Yeah.
All these little things, and plus people with stroke and so on in the community, you put something out and you have people to assist them in the water and give them a nice soak, give them a night down and everything. That will be perfect for some of them.
So do you think that there is any hope for, because it appears that one of the issues could be about money. Can a structure be put in place where, even if there are different, aspects of business happening there? I know she does the massages, the mud massages, and sulfur bath and so forth. And I know you have some other little things that you do. How do we combine everything under like one authority to make sure that everybody is being fairly treated and obviously compensated, and at the same time, whatever extra funds that may be available is used to just maintain the place? Because the kind of money right there, in order to get this place to a state where it's going to generate significant income, you would have to make a significant investment in upgrading the facilities then. So that's not immediately possible. So the question is, how do we, until that time comes where you got a benefactor who can help out in that, or whether it's a private person or whether it's the Ministry of Tourism or something, how do we work with the structure now? What are you prepared to do? Are there compromises as a person that you prepared to make with this young lady so we can have an amicable situation there?
Well, how I must put that? When as the situation are now, from time I keep asking for this bombardment and all these things and them to over with. That's why I bring such and such NGOs for they to speak to the individual for they to get this sorted out. I bring Grand Code, I bring the police, I bring couple peoples in society to speak to her. You understand? For me to get it done. But if it cannot done that way, for me now, I decide if I have to go out and work and bring back money to do what I want to do, I will do that.
But did Grencoda, for example, Grencoda is a storied, well-respected organization in Grenada. So did they offer you guys a plan to help you develop some kind of plan in terms of how the place?
We had a mediator in the middle. We had a mediator. Grencoda come and speak. We had a mediator. I speak, she speak, they speak, the mediator speak. Everybody speak, and everything was agreed upon. Okay. And after she just jump out the deal again. So I'm not in a situation where I want to do any sort of business with this individual because it doesn't make sense. Can you agree today and you disagree tomorrow? When I agree for something, I don't take back anything. We agree for that, we agree for that. Presently now I agree to go out there, make $1 because I do trade work.
Yeah, I know you do that, yeah.
So I go out there, make $1. If I want to put a building, I put a building. When the time comes with it, if I don't get the help, I do what I can until perhaps the breath of life give up on me. And perhaps my children continue to live it. We does not know what the future holds.
Listen, I don't think this problem is unsurmountable. I think it's something that can be resolved. We just need people of goodwill.
This is easy to resolve. I'm begging for well, I'm not sure if I could beg for my whole entire rest of my life. Because this case and this courthouse, I have to pay money and pay lawyers and come on. When
so let me better understand this. Who has taken to which entity has taken you to court? The government or a private entity?
Well, it's a private entity what claiming the property belongs to them. But as I said earlier on, it's 400 and something acres of land, but they only want the Sulphur Spring area. Why? I don't know why. As I said earlier on, the property.
And do they have a legal? I mean, they claiming that, but they have they have legal paperwork showing that they own the.
I'm going to say to you again, the paper they come to ask me to be the caretaker of the property. They want me to be the caretaker. They bring a piece of paper for me to sign to be the caretaker. So I easily said to them, all right, if you is the owner of the land and you come to give me a deal or something concerning the property, I need to see your deal and your plan. They bring me up, the name they bring me up with is Livera Group Limited. The deed and the plan.
And who's the head of that group?
Well, I think Winston White and them is some head of that group.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Oh, no.
Say no more.
Oh, no.
The next part, the next part of that, the next part of that, the name of the property is Livera Beach Development. That is what they only did and the plan.
So let me understand that. Didn't the government do something? Because that's all part of the old Shambo estates, right?
Yes.
Okay. So wasn't there a plan by the government, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little less?
Just before election. Just before election.
I didn't want to use that word.
I was in that meeting. I was in that meeting.
To sort of divvy up and give people plots?
Well, I have a piece of paper stating what they said, and I take a copy from it. So I may have that copy somewhere in the spring, so perhaps I may be able to zoom it to you one of these days.
So, listen, I think you have to reach out to Minister Moses. I mean, she's this is somebody I've known. I mean, she's a reasonable person.
I try my best.
We got to kind of leave the politics out of it and put St. Patrick's ahead of it.
Everything politics.
I'm going to say to you, if I was about politics, I would not have even called the Minister of Tourism to come and even assist in anything. You understand? I personally, you don't see me with a red jersey, a green jersey, or a yellow jersey. You will never see that on me. You understand? I'm an individual. When election day, I choose to go and vote. I vote and I get out there. Sometimes I'm the third person to vote. And I go and do my business. You understand? So no politics in me. Treat everybody the fairly same way.
Okay.
Delbert.
Yeah.
I am, listening all of this, right? And I know you try to evade that by you don't want to go there. But when we hear the names that are calling this stuff, there is two things happening here. We have the River Beach Resort, a corporation, whatever it is, and have this new entity with Winston White leading that. Where did Winston White get the information from? They don't have a deal and a plan.
So let me give it. I have a little back history on that. You one of the things that annoys me, and we're getting political now, but we can't avoid it. Is that when I see ex-Gary Wrights on Facebook or Gary diehards talking about Gary did this great thing and land for the landless and this. And land for the landless is the biggest lie ever told to the Grenadian people. It is bar none, nothing else come, because so many people believed that it actually happened. It never did. What Gary did was sort of bullied the estate owners to give workers a plot of land in the respective estate to work. They were never deeded. They never got deed for those property.
Yeah.
So that when the estate system broke down, these same lands were resold sometimes to the people who are working in children and grandchildren.
Oh, Delbert, let me tell you something. Right here. All right? In 1988-89, my late wife and I went to Decals for a subcontract to do clothing, t-shirts and such, school uniforms, right? And And while we were in the process, we got everything, financing, everything was okay. My father was a landlord for a piece of land that Gary gave a lady in Telescope. All right, she had no. The land was supposed to be given to me for $150. Okay, transfer. All right, but they had no deed.
Yeah,
A title to the land. And not only she, the number of people in Telescope.
Yeah,
that was God. But the land, I think, owned by, I think most of it owned by the Kent family too. Telescope. All right, and it become Prize Estate. You know, Gary had that estate over. Prize Estate become the government owned, right? And so a lot of people who work on the estate got plots of land. My father got peace, right? And unfortunately for him, he got with the wisdom from my mom. Make sure he got a title for the land in Telescope. But many people in Telescope did not have title to the land.
And the reason I'm telling you that is that at the time when that was done, the only people who got deed for their plots was some of the very key people around Gary, including Winston White. If you know Bedford Point, you know where Bedford Point is? Bedford Point is all the way going down to the Livera Bay, because people have to understand the difference between Batway and Livera Beach. Livera Beach is the one further down. So that's Livera Beach is in Bedford Point.
Right.
So there's a nice plot of land there that years ago, since he was in government, he deeded to himself. Okay? So Winston White probably is using that old deed of that plot that he took. I know the history of that. Okay? So that's what he's doing. And if you talk about what's happening now, when they see the big development coming on, they probably figure it's a way. But the reality is that, okay, even this Kent family, the land does not belong to them. The land does not belong to them. What happened is that when the land was stolen, let's get this thing real. The land was stolen from the original inhabitants of the island, right? By the British colonialists and the French colonialists. And when they abandoned ship,
they left the land.
The managers, the people who used to manage the estates, were given the authority to manage the estates. So these people turned around, and because the original fake thieves who claimed to have owned the land, the British colonialists, when they abandoned the lands and went back to London, they were paid for that land. Okay? So they stole it from our ancestors and our people, from the original inhabitants. Then when they went back to England and abandoned it, the British Crown paid them for it, and they left it to be managed by these mulatto families, who then deeded it to themselves, like the Kents and the Gales and the Garden Gentles and them, who played in that area for a lot of years. So that's how these things came about. So I mean, we need a Mugabe land reform in Grenada.
You know, and I know Pablo they're listening. But the truth about it is, and the brother is right here. I mean, he has to stand up, and I know he might need a lot of help in managing and putting a structure together. I don't believe he could do that all by himself. But he cannot trust nobody. And I think there's a trust issue there right now. He doesn't know who to trust, who will be honest with him. You know, Delbert, like you and I could go together and say, okay, we're going to help him, genuinely. But who are those people in Grenada right now around him that will say, okay, brother, we want to help you genuinely. Let's put this thing together. But so far, it seems as though they're just sharks within the ground.
So here's what I think could happen. We could, write a proposal, okay, and publish it open source online, and asking Grenadians, and in particular St. Patrick's people in the diaspora, to contribute $100 over 6 months. All right, put together a nice fund and ask Specto to step in, because I trust Specto because of the caliber of people there, and I know they don't want anything out of it. They would do it willingly. Or another organization like the St. Patrick's Organization for Development or the ministry may want to designate an authority, maybe form a co-op or something like that, under which the place can be run, continually be upgraded, and become a significant income generator for all the parties concerned, and lift the area as a national tourist destination.
But Delbert, why not? Okay, Grand Coda has been involved in the process already.
Okay, so Grand Coda.
Okay, look at for example, in 1985, excuse me, under the leadership of the Agency for Rural Transformation, right? We had formed the Greater the GUPC, Greater Cooperative Association, right? UPC, Cooperative Union. We have went to Byron Campbell at the time, and they had written up a proposal for us, which they presented to HEVOS, right, to fund us. And what they did, they gave us $95,000 for the first year to set up a secretariat and stuff like that. All right, we did that. The second year, they gave us $500,000 to continue running the program for the next 5 to 10 years. All right, so under that program, we had money to set up continue financing the secretariat, and training and everything else coming all of that. So something like that could be happening again with the brother. What you need is to pull a team of people around him, as he being the leader, get a secretary, get a PRO, and get somebody to help him, to guide him through the development stage. But the problem I still seeing, Delbert, is the question of trust.
Well, so I agree with you. So that's why I'm saying we have to have a fair arbiter in the middle who is going to come in and win the trust of all the parties concerned. And only so then people will be willing to work together.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, Byron might be also a very good person to reach out on that, because
exactly
he's still associated with that agency that deals with rural transformation, and I could easily see how a project like that can come as part, even though if it's a tourism project, but it's also in the rural area, and it fits into that whole rural transformation space and construct. So I can see how he could he'll be a good voice to lend to this.
Yeah, I think Brian will be a very good person to help facilitate a proper running of operation of the thing, because I mean I work with Brian, and he's a very honest and straightforward person. He's a straight shooter. I think Brian will be a very, very, I know Mr. Campbell very well, working relationship wise. I think he's a very honest person, a very straightforward person. I think somebody could help him help the brother, to develop the site and make it very resourceful for other people to come and use, make it valuable in the sense that and profitable as well. I think something that needs to be done. The site is a big site, and a lot of stuff could be done there. What you need is trusted people that have the best interests of the community, and not just looking to.
In 2 years you could even have a situation where you have 3 or 4 nice little cottage on that site where people spending the night.
Yeah, you make mention earlier on about the tents and stuff. It's a good idea. Just keep it local. You know what I mean? The question is, if you doesn't have a deed and title for the property, I don't think you could erect any.
Well, the government could take care of that.
Yeah.
The government could declare the area, that particular area, maybe a 4 or 5 acres around, because there's a lot of land there, a lot of wasteland, and nobody's doing anything with the remainder of the land. So it's not like they're happening. They could declare it a national heritage site.
Yeah, but then he gonna lose it. What's the government?
Well, no, not necessarily. What I'm saying is that if the community if him and the other interested parties were to come together under some kind of umbrella after consultation with somebody who has the sort of capability to bring people together and to form some kind of organization, and then present that as part of an overall plan to the government, and then the site would become government owned. But then, like say, the government could lease it back to them for $1 a year, and then they could develop it.
Yeah, because it's beneficial to the country at whole. Because tourism and people hearing about the healing stuff, and with the Sulphur Spring want to come in and get stuff done, and that again that would be a major source of revenue. And
people buy the sulfur mud, whatever, I don't know the correct terminology for it. This thing is sold all over the world, you know. You go into the high-end boutiques and they have this sulfur solution thing that they sell for all kind of $40 for 3 ounces and things. So this is not cheap stuff.
Exactly. I see, and that's what
women use it for their faces and backs and all this kind of stuff.
And Delbert, that's the point here, and that's what I'm saying. There's so many matter besides the person. These people, the whites and whoever they are, see the value in it and see what they could get from it and how they could better market it than the product. So it is something that is trending a certain way to.
Listen, here's what I'm going to promise. You reach out to Byron, I'll reach out to Tan.
Okay.
They both know each other, and those are the two best people I can think about who can help them.
I know Byron probably listen to the show.
Couple of questions here, if I can come in.
Yes, man.
Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Now, MAREP, the office for MAREP was situated in St. Patrick for an extended period. Up until recently, the headquarters for MAREP, which is now called SIEP, used to be in St. Patrick. The office has since been moved to St. George's.
Wow.
Have you had any interaction with MAREP in terms of any kind of support for that project?
Yes, but I had went to MAREP early, and we make papers, we do document, we write up everything to support a few sheds or whatever building I would have liked to do in the yard, the seats and so on in the yard. And after when I went back, they had asked me for my deed and my title, and I said, well, I didn't have that because look what happens in that area. Which that same company was doing some roads in Shambo, but they never supported me. Okay. I never get supported from them.
I wanted to establish that for Mr. Baptiste to take into consideration. Seeing that
I'm aware of MAREP, and you're right, they were in St. Patrick's for a long time.
Seeing that he's referring to Mr. Campbell, who headed MAREP and head SIEP.
Yes.
Now the other thing is, I like the idea of reaching out to Specto. Actually, they're due to be on the Comfort Zone program along with 2 other guests sometime in the not too distant future. So sometime in March, somebody from Specto is going to be on the Comfort Zone program. So I'm going to avail myself of the opportunity to include that into the conversation. But I like the idea of reaching out to Specto and trying to establish that working relationship. I like the idea of working along with Mr. Benjamin in terms of putting together a constructive and cohesive project proposal, because it is very likely to get the support of independent people out there that can begin to do certain things on the facility which can make it economically viable for Mr. Benjamin, who has been the one doing the work there, maintaining the site, who essentially got it all started, because hadn't he done what he did back since before the turn of the century, we would not be where we are at presently. So I like the idea of looking at the development of that project, and I feel confident that there will be people who would buy into that and would be willing to support that. I don't have the confidence, and based on what has transpired from then till now, I don't have the confidence and do not trust the tourism authorities in terms of while they're essentially a stakeholder in the sense of it being a tourism attraction, I don't see them, I don't see it as beneficial to give them any higher status in that in that endeavor. And I believe that things like community tourism operations can develop significantly having a relationship with the tourism authorities, but not having them having any direct controls apart from the established standards and so, which they are responsible for ensuring that these things are in place so that you know when the product is being offered to the public, you know that you're offering something that meets the required standards. Outside of that, I don't see a need and I don't trust having these people involved based on the experiences that I have had and the way how I see community tourism events have developed without they playing that role. Because, for example, now we've had COVID-19 and COVID-19 has really more or less put pay to Fish Friday until we can get back to that stage. But Fish Friday became the model community tourism event in the country and used to bring thousands of people to Guelph. And there was no government involvement. There was no tourism authority or ministry involvement. Yes, they were appraised of what was being done. Yes, there was a level of collaboration with them in terms of training people and so on. But outside of that, they had no other authority. And I believe in the same way, it is possible to do a project proposal, to do the necessary work to develop the project without having the authorities involved in the way that was proposed a while ago, like they having, because they don't have title to the land anyway. As it stands now, the title for the property is still vested in the original owners.
Yeah.
So what is it then? And that's another issue that comes to the fore based on the conversation that we have in now. The way there is no established policy as to how government treats with heritage and heritage sites and some of the natural assets that are on private property.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I know that same way again within the Fish Friday construct, we were looking to establish a line of tours in St. John, beginning with the Concord Waterfall and the Douglaston Estate, the Spice Factory at the time. Now that has since been burned down. The Nutmeg Pool, going up to the fort, right, which has its own story, because when you're on top there, you are between the Douglaston Estate on one side and Guelph Estate on the other side. You have that panoramic view from the top. There's all of the history that goes with it, right? And the Huggins tours were ready to begin bringing visitors there and so. But because that property is, whether duly so or not, it's being seen as the property of the St. Rose Convent, they were reached out to in terms of getting the blessings on doing that project there, and they said no, and that put pay to everything as a consequence of that.
Well, that's an easy problem to solve.
it's supposed to be an easy problem to solve,
No,
but that's the thing.
it's actually a very easy problem to solve.
Government has not established a policy as to how you treat with these properties, with these heritage sites, and so that are on private property, and that is that you know. So what is the solution that you recommended that you consider to be so easy? Yeah, what solution that you consider to be so easy? Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to hear.
Pablo, you want me to go all radical tonight, right?
Oh, well, you say that it's an easy problem to solve. So
because you're looking at somebody who, you know, let's not even get into how the Catholic Church seem to always have the best plot of land in every parish, right? But the government said that this is a national heritage site. We want some kind of access to it as part of our overall how we sell the country. You said no. We say okay. We're no longer going to give. We're going to move all the teachers out of the school. You want to run a Catholic school? Fund it yourself. It's not that simple.
Anyway, don't go there. Let's not go there. I'm talking point. Okay. Anyway. Yeah,
listen, but I'm all about solutions.
Yeah, the whole idea. I believe that you should follow up with Mr. Benjamin on working out this whole issue. Use somebody who's specialized in project proposals and stuff like that. Work out with him. You know the dynamics of that project proposal, right? What are the projections and so on and so forth. And make sure that, you know, and behind the scenes, work with, have a conversation with Spector. You know, is Mr. Sonny still associated with Spector?
I think so, you know, I think so.
Okay.
Miss, there are a number of people. Miss Christine Lewison, Pharmacy in Sautez, is also associated with it. Claudette Pitt,
yes.
You know, so they have real good people.
Actually, she's the one that I've been engaging with in recent times about coming on that program.
That's another person who I think could help put, because she has that kind of gravitas to work with thing, and she's definitely interested in projects like that. So it's something that listen, this thing could develop into a nice project. Right?
I'm very well aware of that, and that's the reason why when I had that responsibility for community tourism, I tried to get the ministry to be involved. I brought people from the ministry on the site. We met with this gentleman I'm talking about in 2012, right? The document that I read from, that was the concept paper that came out of the engagement that we had with him. That's how I ended up with all of those photos and so from that time. So I very much appreciate the potential, right, that this thing has, and I believe, I am confident that that's the way that we need to go in developing our tourism project. And that's why it disheartens me greatly when I see what is happening in Lasages presently. Because that's another area that I had visited. I never knew about this dry forest lake there until I got involved in community tourism at that level. And I went there during this time of the year. Now you have all sort of migrating bird species and so coming and nesting there and stuff like that. All of that is something, I mean, all of the mangrove and thing is gone. And they're in the midst of filling up the lake instead. They're in the midst of, that's what they're in the midst of doing. So you have a natural ecotourism asset is being destroyed in the name of tourism development. And that's the dilemma that we face in this country. You know, at least that's one of them. You know, that's one of the dilemmas we face in this country. You're destroying a natural ecotourism asset in the name of tourism development.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense, you know. So
this place could be this could be a nice, really nice ecotourism project. You know?
Definitely so. So I'm hoping that you will be able to work with Mr. Benjamin here, right? And begin to look into that, have some talk with Specto and so on. Yeah. Still go back to Byron. And
John, we gotta do some work on this coming up this week. Let's reach out to the respective people.
Yes.
But let's see if we can bring them together in a conference call and get Mr. Benjamin on that call also, and the young lady also, you know, because we cannot approach it by taking sides. We have to bring everybody involved.
Roger that.
First, speak to the people who we think could help, and get get them to commit to participate in it, to help working it out. Then bring the different fractions together, and then let's look at a plan of what can be done there over and the next 24 months. I have some ideas on it, and to keep it as natural as possible, but at the same time to get it where you could employ 5 to 10 people, providing jobs, good, decent paying jobs for their family. Because you see, this is not a place that only foreign tourists visit, right? Grenadians visit that place quite a lot. And not now, since I was a child, people used to have bus trip coming from St. George's and St. Andrews coming to visit that place, so it's not new,
but it has gotten to the point where you were not having these kind of visits anymore.
Yeah, it did.
Because the place was just overgrown and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And
that's when
as my brethren will tell you, it was only the spiritual Baptist people that would be going there with the rituals and so.
Of the back.
Outside.
Leader G.
Leader G. Because I tell you, when I first started visiting there, right, the way you see these places right now with that main spring where it's opened up, and so it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Right? It was covered over and so on, and you see the rock and where the candles, where they would have laid the candles and the candles burn out. When I went there, that's what it was. So a significant amount of work has gone into that place, and if you calculate if you put a dollar value to the amount of work that this gentleman has done there since, I mean it must have run into the hundreds of thousands by now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, there was a time when this place really went to hell in a handbasket.
So.
I want to suggest, Pablo, I know you said that you've been involved in community tourism.
Community tourism development,
yes. Would it be nice, too, for you to be part of the process of helping develop the area? I mean, working and coordinating the event and making sure everything is well greased and well run. I think you'll be a good force to be with, to be part of that movement.
I have no problem in that. I see you got the pictures up. So you see all of the bamboo and stuff, and the thing about it is Mr. Benjamin is a construction man, he building all kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. That's his line of work. And as the concept paper said from the onset, is that the structures, right? The intention is to, as Delbert was saying a while ago, to keep things as natural as possible.
Yeah, you have to, right? or else you destroy the thinking behind it.
Yeah. As he, and that was the intention. All of the construction work will be undertaken, under his guidance, and as far as possible, local timber and other such material will be used to set up the structures. That was part of the concept from the very beginning, Yeah, that was part of the concept from very beginning, providing change rooms and bathroom and a refreshment center, a craft stall, the massage booth. And so all that was part of the original concept.
Yeah.
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 You see? And I must say, at that juncture, when I visited there, the lady was part of the conversation. And
Yeah.
that's why she came in for mention in the project profile. That's why there's a paragraph that says, because of the healing properties of the sulfur at the springs, visitors will have the opportunity to have healing health baths and to receive massages with herbal fragranced local oil.
Yeah.
This service will be provided by Miss Lewin John, a member of the group who has had formal training in this process. Because at that time when I visited, he had been making an effort to put a group together, and she was part of the process.
Yeah.
You know? So it is something that I was associated with at that point in time. So I have a reasonable appreciation of its history and, you know, what has transpired, what has been taking place. You know?
All right.
So my question still remains to Mr. Benjamin. How willing are you to work with a group of people to help you develop the area in terms of giving direction and leadership to the project?
Well, I personally, with an open arms,
right.
I am here with an open arms because, as I say to you, I does not know how to get to trust people like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Because everything keep going down my throat rough.
Right.
For the past 16 years.
Wow.
So if I get somebody good, I'm going to know if they're good, if they come genuine. I will know because I go through every hardship already. So God will never give me hardship all my life. He must give me something smooth someday. And I know that.
Well, you know.
So if you guys right now is the persons to put the thing smooth, I will work with that.
Right. Well, I know Delbert could help, like he says, and then I'll try to reach out to Mr. Campbell and see what we could do here. And I think Pablo should also be part of the panel to help put this stuff together and make it happen. I think it's doable. I don't see a reason why it can't be done. I personally believe that this is something that could be properly managed and have it become the eco-friendly place where people come and be part of getting the bath, getting the stuff, and have the recreation for children. Like I said, it's a big picture, and I would like to see it develop and become profitable as well.
Yeah. In order for it to sustain people, it has to be profitable. It has to make money. It has to make money to pay people and to continue to upgrade and maintain the place. So
and that's what
I'm thinking through some idea.
And that's why I think the people who want him to just as a maintenance person, they want to take it. Once he signed this document, he no longer holds claims to that part of the land. He just the maintenance person. So he can't sign something like that. You understand? He's not the maintenance man of the project. He seems to be the maintenance man because he's doing it by himself all now. But he's the operator of the facility, of the grounds. He's the man who controls it.
Mr. Benjamin, have you had a lawyer that have been willing to work with you on this?
Yeah, we have a lawyer.
I didn't hear that. The rain is falling every year.
Yeah. Have you contacted him? Do you have legal advice on this?
Well, personally, I don't have none of these things because the lawyers are expecting to do the things for me. I don't find they're not pressing on anything, All what they're saying to me, well, so far what I have done, I had make I forget how to say it. The lawyers had made asked me to get 4 persons who have known me on the property within the amount of years, so they can make a claim knowing that
they wanted an affidavit of support.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have done that already. So they're just waiting after the mitigation. with that party, and the case finished, which is taking forever to finish. Whenever it finished, perhaps they might organize a document for it.
Because the first thing that would have to be checked is that whether or not the deed or plan that they're showing you is actually a legal deed.
Exactly.
No, but they don't show no deed. That's the thing. They don't show no deed.
The one they were showing to me, is not a legal one because it was not theirs.
It's not in the name.
It don't belong to them.
They don't have no title. That's the thing. They don't have no title.
Yeah. You know something.
But Brother John,
yes, sir.
You know, speaking about deed and title, you know what comes to mind? I got to understand just recently that well, I'm going to say it here. I've been speaking with people about it and I haven't really said which property it is. You know that we were supposed to have a poultry project in Victoria, right?
Yeah.
It didn't happen, right?
Okay.
Now, it's on that very same site that the shrimp farm was supposed to take place, right? Are you aware of that, right?
I hope there's a punchline there, Pablo.
Yeah, there is. Now, so the property was vested in the poultry entity, right? Are you aware that in spite of the fact that our government got into an arrangement with these investors for the development of the shrimp farm on that property, that the title is still vested in the poultry entity, so that the claim for tax still goes to the individual who has been associated with that original poultry project?
Wow.
So hold on.
I am telling you as a point of fact.
In other words,
I've seen the tax document.
Okay, so there's a double.
And he ain't going to know it's not made out to any shrimp farm entity.
So
it's made out whatever the poultry project has, the poultry entity was named. That is what it's made out to, and that's who it goes to.
Wow. So the double dipping.
How does government do something like that?
Whoa. Well, given the fact,
it could only be two things: incompetence or corruption.
Well, both. You see, when we come on this show, sorry, Pablo, excuse me. When we come on this show and we bring facts and we bring stuff here, people we anti the government, but facts is facts, fiction is fiction, and we try our best to get the best information out to the Grenadian people, right? Whether it's the comfort zone, talking point, whatever, we bring the best to people. We have the information and we present it with excellence, and that's the kind of thing that we need to expose. You know, let the Grenadian people see and know what's going on, because some of us tends to believe that. I heard a lady make a comment the other day on Facebook. See how comment she made that Dr. Mitchell and the NMP have done so much for Grenada, right? And somebody, I think it was Ann Williams, replied, what he did, sell on the patrimony, but nobody's ever done, you know? So she started asking her and explain, the person asked her to explain what she mean by he have done more than what than anybody would done for Grenada. And a lot of people started mentioning what the PRG have done in terms of agenda for Grenada, compared to what they have done. They have been for the longest period serving, and what have they done to prove that they're really worth it, you know? She haven't rebutted, she haven't come back with anything, but it is what it is. They never have, and they will never have an agenda to produce to the Grenadian people. And what we're seeing is corruption evermore, according to Blackwood said. You know, it's this,
well, as it is right now, in all of our history, from colonialism come right through. Well, the PRG is the only administration that has had a constructive development agenda for the people of the country. I mean, Britain would have had one, but it was for the British.
Yeah.
Right?
In
It was for them.
Yeah.
Right? The PRG is the only government that has had a development agenda for the people of the country, and we lived through that period, and we see the harvest, we see the benefits that came out of it, and we're still seeing the benefits of it up to today. You know, so I think that aspect, that is something that cannot be disputed. You know, I would never try to dispute that. I wouldn't challenge that, and that's one of the things that I used to, up until recently, used to be always in confrontation with our mutual friend on social media about. You know, because
I didn't even go in there. Say no more. Say no more.
You know, yeah, that's one of the things that we used to have, you know, because, you know, some people want to be dismissive of that, and that's the reason why last year, when we had during October, I deliberately had that conversation. What were the strengths? What were the weaknesses? What were the opportunities? And what were the threats of that period? Right? It wasn't about looking to make a comparative analysis between the PRG time and the Gary time, who was more brutal, whether the Mongoose gang was worse than the whatever. That wasn't the essence of that conversation. Because if we are to grow as a nation and we are to learn from our previous experiences, it's critical for us to take a look at what were some of the strengths and or to do a critical analysis of the different periods that we have lived through, and try to draw from it the positive elements that we can use in developing coming up with a constructive development agenda for us going forward. You know, and I think that should be the kind of conversation that we should be having, you know, at all times. You know.
That's why I have a very good friend who always say, time spent trying to fix the past takes away from building the future, you know?
All the time. All the time. You can't fix it, but that's gone, that's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
People might have their feelings, they might have the what, and when you come to that, you express your feelings, you say what you have to say, and you move on from there.
Yeah.
As I said, I had my issues with revolution, but from then to now, all of the people that I've had constructive working relationship with are people who's been involved with the revolution in one way or another. And here am I sitting with you guys who've been integrally involved with the revolution. I've had a working back then during the time of Calypso and culture. It was Glenn Noel and Rudolfo Gilvey and Black Wizard and these kind of people. You know, Valerie Gordon, Judy Williams.
Yeah.
These are the people that I've had good working relationship with, you know, throughout the years, throughout all of the time, you know. So one cannot, as you just said, you can't exert your energies on trying to fix what happened in the past, you know. It cannot be fixed. You learn from it and you move on. You take what can work well for you going forward, what worked well then, see how you can tweak it to meet your given situation presently, and the other things you know that you know you don't go there.
Don't go there.
But I think we really it was good. It's good to have had Mr. Benjamin on here this evening to come to speak about that issue, and I'm looking forward to, and I'm really hoping that, you know, the follow-up can be done. The commitments that's been given here, we could begin to take a meaningful approach towards addressing it and so on. I know we did start quite late this evening, but here we are. I mean, in spite of what time we start, we always get the job done.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. For sure, for real.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Sonia, Matt, and Scott, who have always been
always there. Neela there too, right?
Yeah, Neela is there too.
Yeah, Neela is always there.
She shared the show as well. Peter Bishop is there. Peter Bishop
Peter is there too.
Also there, yeah.
Neela, I hope she's listening. She sent me an email for Sunday's program. Neela is forcing me to expand my brain beyond its capacity.
You walk in your Delbert. You walk in you.
These topics of softness and sensitivity and that whole, is not my comfort zone.
Well, you seem to be doing a very good job of it.
I don't want to be known that way.
You seem to be doing a very good job of it, man. Delbert.
Yes. This is what Gem FM does. We create, we bring out the greatness in people.
Yeah, man. You're expanding your horizon.
Yeah, we are about to creating greatness. We're not creating anything. We're bringing out. When I first saw Pablo, I said, "Wow, this guy is powerful." And then one evening I was driving home, I said, "You know what? I'll give this guy his own show. I think he have a lot more in him to give than just a couple of hours on Gem FM. Let him have his own show. Bring out his greatness in. And look at what Pablo has done. What 26 shows later." 26.
Tomorrow is going to be the 29th.
29 shows altogether. Look, and text man Warren. Text was just to come and post on my shows in the night. My unique prayer, and she gone. And one day at work, I say, call her and give her a show. Come on and show me. No, text have 2 shows doing. She have a heart to heart, and she have talk with text during the day, and she's still every morning from 8 o'clock in the morning. She's here with me until 11 o'clock, So, and then we have coming up, we have next in April, I think it is, Pablo, Gem FM Africa is happening, what's the brother name? Kilbo?
Nkala. I forget what his first name is. Ngala.
He'll be here doing his show on April every Sunday evening from 1:30 to 2:30, 1 hour show. We have that. And we have a fitness program coming up in April. As soon as you're ready, finish the
Pablo, there's a young lady in Grenada right now that I gotta send you her information that you need. I think the comfort zone is the right place for her. She's a fascinating person that you should have a conversation with. I'll send you her information.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Wonderful. She's an author, has a powerful book that she wrote concerning the whole thing of phobia and spirituality and deep thinking system. Very, very, very active on Facebook too,
Okay.
Somebody you should keep in mind. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
bring them on.
Yeah. So, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes,
it was good of you to really come on. I know that you're a man, you work hard during the day, and I mean we guys we are accustomed burning the midnight oil. You know what I mean? Yeah. When we get on this thing here, we just go and go and go. But it was really good to have you, and I mean I know Anne Marie must be saying that we're keeping you here too long. She was.
I always visit the Sulphur Spring when I'm in Grenada. So, my brother, I will see you, and hopefully the next time we see you, we would have something up and in the works, and where everybody is working together towards helping that place realize, to something bigger and greater than what it is now.
When I'm in Guam, that's my neighbor,
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. His Guam home. His Guam home where he is right now he's my neighbor when I'm in Guam.
All right. Right.
Well, you're in good company, my friend.
Yeah,
right. In good company.
So
thank you all so much.
Mr. Benjamin, any final words for as you leave us for the evening?
Yes, well, I just want to thank all the people what supported me throughout the years, and thank the guests behind your back right there.
Yeah, man.
And thanks everybody for everything, you know.
All right.
It's a bright,
Not a problem, my brother. Not a problem.
It's a bright ahead to come. You're gonna come.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing how things work out, right? You and I hadn't met for quite a few months. And then I met you just about a week or two ago, and we had a conversation, and I did mention to you about me being on this Gem FM platform, about the man being based in Canada and so on and so forth. And look at how we work out. You're here tonight, right?
Yeah, you know, and very funny. I watched a clipping from a news. So the news GBN was interviewing somebody about the project, and the brother was in favor of Mr. Benjamin, and the brother was saying in effect that it's jealousy, you know, because the man been working the yarn for years. Now somebody think and they feel that they could do better if they want it, you know, and the land don't belong to them, you know. So, but now they want to put him and take him to court for it, waste of time, because that the man been doing what he doing before they came along, and now they see it and they want to take it from him, you know. So using the powers to manipulate the system to get it from him, you know. And somebody from River Sallee that was interviewed on the radio, and so I really. When I saw it, I said, I got to get him here. So I asked Pablo, if you know about it. Yeah. And then someone in the chat said it's their cousin, you know. And I decided to reach out. And then Miss Willis actually inboxed me and gave me his number to contact him. Because Miss Willis was watching the show. She was not on the show, but she was watching the show as well. A lot of people doesn't come in, but they're watching and listening to the show.
I was watching the show too, and I heard the mention about River Sallee and stuff.
Yes.
And then Miss Willis, she sent me the message and said that, you know, I should have this guy coming on and stuff like that.
Right.
But by then you had already given the commitment to have him on, so I told her that was in the works.
Yeah. So we just do it. So again, it's nice, man.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, man, sure.
There is something about me. But not working out with a government. A couple of years ago, when I was a young man, I had an acrobat group performing in Grenada here.
Okay.
I performed with the National Chinese group in Grenada here. The National Taiwanese in Grenada here. I look for the support from tourism. I never get a help from none of these people. I had 30-something children moving around this island from school to schools, and I never get the help. You had to fall apart because I never get the help. Now I come on to this with this now, and I still not getting the help.
Yeah.
According to Black Stallion, you have to hold on to an easy, man.
Well, not even Black Stallion, you know. Our mutual friend would say, it's all about tongue once he's country.
This tongue.
You know, once it's country people. People need to.
But Greta is more country than tongue.
Exactly. More country than tongue.
Yes.
So all we are country people.
Yes.
Of course. We had to rally around Mr. Benjamin and try to give him the boost up.
Once he leaves,
and it's estimated that almost 50% of the population in St. George, transplanted from other parts of the island.
True.
Yeah.
The way I see it, once you leave Decal, your country. Once you leave Happy Hill, your country. Once you leave St. Paul's Library, your country. Everything from there go back up his country.
His country, for real.
Some Springs from Springs with Woodlands back up country.
Country.
Yeah, man. Springs. Anything of that is country. Anything Grants Main Road, go down to Belmont to Grants. Any not of that. Like not east of northwest of this. That's country.
That's country.
Yeah,
man.
We are country people. It's just fun.
All right.
And fun.
All right, Mr. Benjamin.
All right, gentlemen.
All right. The best. Yeah, man.
All right. So I'll see you in the morning, John.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope you have Mr. Keto tomorrow morning with us.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Mr. Keto, which Keto that?
Sotes.
After the breakwater thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Keto with the breakwater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The brother who lives in the area, he knows the whole history of this thing.
Right.
And he takes it not even the breakwater. He knows the whole history of the whole erosion, where it started below Lickers Hill, and I mean, he's somebody who really understands the area. He knows the area.
Right. Because I mean, this place has changed so much. I remember during those times too. During my community tourism days, I remember visiting this Mount Rodney Bay, and that was an area. I mean, the stretch of beach that it had there, you know, and there was a sort of vine that was growing along the place there, and turtles used to come up there and nest and all that kind of stuff.
Brother, I grew up in that area. A matter of fact, when Father Hilarion was building the home, which my grandmother gave him the land to build the house, the home.
Yeah,
right?
You know, that's...
My grandmother gave him the land there to do that. And we used to go and help jug up sand and gravels from there to build that place. As a little boy, going up there. You know what I mean?
And Mount Rodney Bay was a bay. It was a bay especially that older folks always visited, you know? Always.
Right.
So, go and get their sea bath and, you know, rejuvenate themselves. There was something about it. You know, always visiting there, you know. So the whole place has been destroyed now.
Yeah.
You
know,
it's become something that you know, that some of a horror movie now, you know. When you look at it, it's gone. It's gone. I mean, just now we might even have 4 past here. Can you imagine that? If they don't do something in the immediate future, I don't want immediate future going on to send the water further down beyond the rocks. We wouldn't have a 4 past there. No, we won't have it. Do you see that go up behind the lady house, behind the woman house? I mean, like when I look at the picture, I say, my goodness, this is crazy. Look at this, man. You know, look at this. The woman house is almost gone. Look at where she. I mean, look at where it is. You know. This is crazy. You know.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So tomorrow morning.
All right.
Show me the way.
And the comfort zone. The comfort zone tomorrow from 2 p.m. We have a very special guest, a nurse practitioner, who is involved in cannabis therapy, speaking about the healing powers of marijuana. Right. So it's a lot.
There we go. Yes. Show me the way.
All the best.
All right. One love.
Yes,
sir. Everybody. Thank you again, Pablo. Thank you so much.
Always.
One love, my brother.